Congressman Brad Winstrup is one of the House Intel Committee members who have read the memo on FISA abuse, and he is deeply disturbed.
I think that we are, I'll use Abraham Lincoln's line, we're testing whether this nation or any nation so conceived can long endure. If we don't correct our wrongs, if we the people don't have oversight, and the people don't get to have oversight with us as members of Congress, then that's a problem. So keep plugging away. I think that transparency, how are we ever going to develop trust if we can't be frank with the American people?
Well, it doesn't sound like now is the time for trust. Joining us, by the way, is a former member and chairman of the House Oversight Committee, former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Jason, good to have you with us. You've called for Republicans to release that memo, and I want to get to that. But first, I want to get to the shutdown. Let's start with, do you think they're going to be able to reach agreement at the last 2 hours? Mitch McConnell saying that they will try at 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, I like that they're going to vote. I think it's important that you put people on the record. I have a hard time believing, now that you see people like Heidi Heitkamp and Joe Manchin and others, they're realizing that shutting down the government, what it'll do to the children's health care, what that does to the whole of government, all the government employees, is not a good move. All the Republicans in the House were asking for is a 30-day continuing resolution. That is entirely reasonable. I just don't think they can win this on the merits. I think the Democrats take a big hit on this one.
I think you're right, and I think that the Schumer shutdown has maybe as much to do with that 4-page memorandum that the House Intel Committee has circulated now, at least among the Republican conference, and diverting American attention, the American people's attention from it. Let's turn to that. Today, you sent a tweet to Trey Gowdy and Jim Jordan, and you said this: since you have a cold, it's okay to release that memo. Hashtag release the memo. Jason, obviously referring to Dianne Feinstein and her release of the entire testimony of GPS Fusion GPS. So I would say, first of all, that was a very clever tweet, and it's also one that I hope excites the imagination of somebody who can get their hands on that 4 pages.
Well, look, it's only 4 pages. Every member of the House on both sides of the aisle, they have a security clearance. They ought to go in and read it. And then there'll come a point where I think Devin Nunes can call for a vote to have it released. What I told, having not heard it or seen any of the details within it, is that there is classified information in there. And so you have to be very careful on how you do that. But I think the spirit of openness and transparency in something that is obviously wrong, because you see people on camera who've read it and they're like visibly disturbed by it. Shaking. I mean, I saw the reaction from Mark Meadows and Brad Winstrup and others. And these are, seasoned people who see a lot of stuff. And they're very shaken by it. And, talking to Trey Gowdy and others, I got to tell you, it's something that we need to know about. And the other question I don't hear anybody asking is, what is the Department of Justice and the Attorney General doing about it? You don't need a House panel to uncover this. We know there's an Inspector General report. That'll be pivotal. But what is the Attorney General himself doing? Because they can't just walk away from this.
As our audience, I'm sure, recalls, you are among those who have said that the Attorney General Sessions should resign if he can't do his job or doesn't want to do that job. It's an open question as to what the heck he is doing and how much progress is being made if he is working. So you raise, I think, an absolutely pertinent question and one that does need answering. But for that matter, the entire odor that surrounds the top echelons of our Justice Department and the FBI is such a stench now, even over that swamp that you used to work in, that I think we have to have a house cleaning no matter what. What do you think?
Well, my grandfather was a career FBI agent. I grew up thinking that G-men and that the FBI and the Secret Service, they were just heroes. They were above everybody. They just were the men of integrity, and I think the overwhelming majority of them are. But you're seeing the management making some decisions and acting in a way that is immature and improper for this nation. And they've lost that trust of the American people. And the only way to get that back is to have an attorney general who can go in and fix the systemic problems within a very broken agency. And nobody has the confidence in this. Trey Gowdy points out that the Democrats were the ones that wanted to bring Attorney General Sessions, or bring up the Director Comey on Hatch Act violations. Now they swing and think, oh my gosh, he might be the hero of this thing. I mean,
are you kidding me?
We shouldn't have such swings. It should be definitive.
I think that in all consideration of the facts that James Comey has got so much to answer for, that I think it's going to be a long time before he's involved in anything other than answering questions, hopefully under oath. Jason Chaffetz, as always, great to have you with us.